Hi, today I want to share with you how to make this Christmas bauble with my own measurements. A couple of days ago, I came across a video on how to make a Christmas bauble, which I would put the link down below. And because I just don't like awkward measurements, I'm not good at measuring. And if you've watched some of my papercraft videos, you may have noticed that I like to work out my own measurements. So this time I will share with you, and I hope you can use the way I do the calculation and work out your own measurements as well. In the other video by the paper pixie, the length of each strip is 7 3/4 inches, but since I don't want to waste paper and I want to reduce it to 6 inches, so I worked out the measurements by myself. In the other video, the measurements were like this. And actually, if you fold it up and glue it, it looks like a rectangle with 2 shorter panels and 2 longer panels. For this panel, she divided it into 2 parts, so you may be confused with the measurements. But in fact, it's just the shorter panel divided by 2, and this is our glue tab. And the 2 shorter panels are actually squares, so the height of each strip will be the length of the shorter panels. Okay, now back to my own measurements. I don't want to say 3/4, 5/8, so I assign each 1/8 of an inch to as 1 unit. Okay, so if I want to reduce the length to 6 inches, that will be 48 units in total, and 48 units minus 2 units, which will be the glue tab, that will leave 46 units. And in the original template, the pull tab will be followed by half of the shorter panel, but I want to rearrange it, and this will be the glue tab, and then the long panel, short panel, long panel, and short panel again. So the length here will be 46 units. There will be 2 A panels and B panels. So A plus B panel will be 23 units. That is 46 units divided by 2. Okay, now you have to work out the length of A and B by yourself. And I assigned A as 13 and then B as 10. Then the difference of A and B will be about 3 units. That is to say, it will be 13 units here, 10 units, 13 units, 10 units, like so. So the total will be 46 units here, plus the 2 units of the glue tab will be 48 units. And if I convert it back to inches, the length of each panel will be 1 5/8, 1 1/4, 1 5/8, and 1 1/4. And I've marked on my scoreboard the places that I have to do the scoring, and then I just put a strip here and do the scoring. So you should score it a quarter for the blue tab, 1 7/8, 3 1/8, 4 3/4, and then the last will be 6 inches. The reason why I rearranged the order of the panels is because I don't want to, split this panel and make the measurements even more awkward. So for my measurements, it will look like this. The blue tab, the long panel, short panel, long panel, and short panel. And I glue it like this. And you score an arc on the long panels. And you will see that when you assemble it, because you have to make 3 strips, when you assemble it, the long panels with the scored arcs will show up. So this is the long panel, and this is the short panel of another strip, and actually the short panel of this strip will squeeze the long panel, and it will look like this. So the length of the long panel should be the length of the short panel plus around the width of this flap. When I first made a sample with scrap paper using the same measurements, it didn't look very pretty. I think that was because the paper I used is cardstock and is very thick, so it just won't fold up properly. And then I did the measurements for another one, and it looks even more ugly. But that's because the difference between the long panel and the short panel is too big. So that means the difference between the lengths of panel A and panel B can't be too big. So I think this will be about the right. And if you see, the difference is 3 units, that is 3/8, and that will be about this length, and I think that is about the right width for this flap. And as I said before, panel B, the short panel, is actually a square, so the width of each strip should be the length of panel B, that is the shorter panel. After I scored all the vertical folds, I used a cup like this, about this size, and put it here and scored with a ballpoint stylus, and then make these flaps. I'll just show you quickly. First of all, you prepare 3 identical strips with the measurements I said before, and just take one and punch a hole in at the center of one of the long panels. Then I used this to protect the area around the hole. Then make a loop with the a lace trim or whatever, and then put it through the hole. Glue 2 strips, put them together, The short panel will be inside the long panel of another one, of another strip. Like so. The third strip will go inside the inner strip, outside the outer strip, and the same on the other side, go inside the inner strip. And remember, the long panel will be shown. So I have to glue the glue tape here. I use a tweezer to hold the flap. And tuck in the pull tab and use the tweezer again, put it inside and hold it until the glue is dry. Now fold the curved folds on the long panels on each of the long panel, and you may have to adjust the position of each strip. And there you have it. It's done. Happy crafting!